I think the logo trend is not as hyped as it was a few years ago. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. If you love shopping and handbag videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. Yesterday I made a video about fashion trends that I felt like are diminishing or becoming less popular, and today I wanted to talk about things that were very popular back in 2018, 2019, 2020 that I think we're starting to switch out of and wear something else instead. So the first thing is Chanel espadrilles. Now, I do have a pair of Chanel espadrilles, and I know espadrilles in general were kind of seen as a classic staple for one's wardrobe, and a lot of you guys may agree that you still wear your espadrilles a lot and that sort of thing, but I feel like in mainstream social media, I hear a lot less people talking about espadrilles, and particularly the two-tone beige and black ones I know were always really popular. And I actually used to have the black ones, but I found I never wore them. Now, the problem with espadrilles is that they're not that good for all weather. Like, particularly, I live in Melbourne and it gets very wet and it's very easy to destroy your espadrilles. You just have to step in a puddle and bam, you can't repair it because it's rope. So I would only recommend espadrilles for if you're in a super hot climate and if it doesn't rain a lot, which is why I think a lot of people are switching out of the espadrilles. And I've noticed a lot more influencers wearing the classic Chanel ballet flats, which were actually kind of out of fashion and seen as a little bit too prim and proper prior to like the espadrilles becoming like super popular. So I think it's really interesting that a lot of people are wearing the Chanel ballet flats again. Although they are a classic, I don't think they were as popular, similar to like the classic flap. Like, it wasn't always, it kind of came in and out of popularity over the years, even though it's a classic. It's interesting that the Chanel classic ballet flats are coming back in fashion, and I think it's in response to this whole like old money, quiet luxury trend that we're seeing, a little bit more of an elegant look. And to be honest, Chanel ballet flats I think are much more practical than espadrilles, although I don't own any because I don't tend to wear flat shoes myself. I tend to wear like boots. I don't know why, but yeah, let me know if you've noticed that as well. The Gucci slogan t-shirt and like t-shirts like the, okay, this is really creased, guys. I haven't, I need to iron this, but the Saint Laurent like signature t-shirt, even like the Balmain t-shirt, and there were so many brands that did these like slogan t-shirts, like branded logo t-shirts. Although I think we can still totally rock them and wear them. I mean, I still wear mine. I do think that they're not as in touch with the trends as now. I think a lot more people are looking for high quality basic clothing, and I think it's got in response to like the popularity of the row. They specialize in very expensive basics, and I think people are looking to invest their money into higher quality materials and simple wearable kind of like uniform fashion. So yeah, I do find that I like having a lot of basics like white t-shirts, black t-shirts, just plain. Even I love just black long sleeve skinny tops. And to be honest, I would just buy those sorts of things from Uniqlo because I feel like they're quite disposable. Those clothes, like, you wear them a lot, and if you invest into a really expensive plain t-shirt, it's not necessarily like, it could wear better, but sometimes these like really designer t-shirts can be really expensive. Just, I don't know, I personally wouldn't spend $1,000 on like a plain t-shirt, but I think that is the trend, to buy these really expensive basics as opposed to these like Logomania t-shirts. So yeah, it's more about that quiet luxury look. And you know, at the same time, I think there are still like a group of people that definitely want to be a bit more loud with their fashion, but it's more in terms of like color, like the Barbiecore trend and prints and that sort of thing. I think the logo trend is not as hyped as it was a few years ago. And on the same lines of the logos, the logo belts, I do have one from Saint Laurent. I don't think these are as trending as a few years ago either. I think people are going towards more like just a subtle classic belt, or even like the Kelly belt I've seen a lot of people talk about, which doesn't have a logo, but you know, I think Hermes, people are like, more people getting into Hermes lately, so they're looking at the Kelly belt as opposed to the H belt. I think that was that is less trending at the moment, although it's a classic. And you know, the Gucci GG belt people went absolutely insane for a few years ago. I had one as well, and I ended up selling it because I sometimes find if I'm wearing like a logo tee and then a logo belt and a logo bag, it's a little bit much. So I do have one logo belt, but I would say that I actually would really like to get a Kelly belt because I think that wouldn't be as obvious, like in terms of branding on my outfit, and I really like the Kelly clasp, and I think it would look really cute with my my Kelly 32 wearing the Kelly belt as well. Is that a little bit matchy-matchy? Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe that is a bit matchy-matchy, but yeah, I think we're going to be subbing out logo belts for just a more simplistic style. In terms of blazers, I know a few years ago the Balmain blazer was really in fashion, and the oversized blazer has also been in fashion probably the last, well, it's still in fashion, the oversized blazer, and a lot of people are swapping out like the Balmain blazer for more like a giant shoulder pad blazer, like from the Frankie shop, or I know Celarot does a lot of shoulder pad blazers. I personally don't really like the shoulder pad blazer or the Balmain blazer. I would go for something a little bit more in between. So yeah, I think the blazer trend, I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you think this is going to keep continuing on for another 5 years? Because I do think that oversized like shoulder blazer look, it's actually been trending for a while and I haven't really seen it go away. So yeah, I think this is a really key trend of now, but it doesn't necessarily suit everyone. I don't know, my jacket today, I don't know, I go for more like jackety things, or I like something with a belt as well. So I guess you just have to find a blazer that suits your body shape or like silhouette. But yeah, the oversized blazer or the shoulder pads blazer, actually, I don't know what we're going to swap that out with, guys, because I was thinking about that, and I don't think we're going to go back to, like, the Balmain blazer, but I don't know what's next after that. So, yeah, that was a bit of a question mark. I think also in terms of handbags, instead of going for, like, the Birkin, the Kelly, and the classic flap, a lot more people are probably going to be going for subtle luxury bags, so things that you can't necessarily identify by brand. So more minimalistic brands. To be honest, I have to do more research on it, but I've noticed myself getting into like the Bolide bag, which is a little bit less distinguishable as like an Hermes bag, and that kind of more simplistic, lesser known bag silhouettes, even like those oversized hobo bags. Instead of wearing a bag with a big logo on it, I think people are going to go towards more less logos and just really high quality leather, really practical styles as well. Practical functional bags as opposed to these like loud logo bags or really tiny miniature like collectible bags. I think these more like practical minimal daily bags and even like sportier styles are going to be a little bit more relevant compared to a few years ago where we were just kind of like buying these fun novelty logo bags. But anyways, thanks for listening to my blabby video today. I just wanted to talk about a few things that I think we're going to be swapping out soon. And yeah, as you know, as always, do whatever you want, guys. Trends are just there as trends. I don't always follow trends, and at the end of the day, just wear what makes you happy. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys on my next one. Bye!